15 years ago, I fell in love with a man that I could never have. Let's call him Aidan. He was powerful, jet-setting, and addictive. The kind of man who would text me from Paris at 2 a.m. and expect me to drop everything and be free when he landed the next morning. And I did. Every time. He never wanted anything serious. And I knew that. But I wanted him. So I took what I could get. Stolen moments, hotel rooms, quickies behind locked doors. And since I worked in real estate, I had access to something that most women didn't. Empty houses. And those empty houses that I was trying to sell, they were our playground. But after 5 years of sneaking around, something changed. He started seeing other women. Random women, casual, disposable, just to remind me how replaceable I was. And I felt him slipping through my fingers. So I panicked. And I made a decision that I still cannot fully explain. I married somebody else. Let's call him Mark. Mark was everything Aidan wasn't. Safe, kind, and loyal. The type of man who shows up on time, brings your mum flowers and just wants a quiet life with you. He treated me the way I should have wanted to be treated, so I married him. But it wasn't for love. I married Mark because it was the only way I knew to keep Aidan in my life. On mine and Mark's wedding day, I watched them hug. I watched Aidan raise a glass to us, to our marriage. And the whole time my heart was screaming, this is wrong. This is so wrong. Because the truth is, all I wanted was Aidan. But instead, I married his brother. Mark. Sweet, loyal, lovely Mark. Just to stay close to the man I'd been obsessed with for 5 years. The man I was still sleeping with when I said I do. And the affair didn't stop after the wedding. Things only got worse. Because now I had the perfect cover. I was the doting wife. Family dinners, Sunday brunch, I played my part perfectly. Meanwhile, I was still texting Aidan addresses of the empty houses I had on the market. We were more careful now. We didn't use hotels anymore because it was too risky. We would only use the properties that I had keys for, the ones that no one would question me being in. I'd unlock the door like I was showing a client, and instead I would be in the bedroom with my brother-in-law. And then I got pregnant with Mark's baby. And no, this wasn't an oops moment. Mark wanted a family, and I wanted to keep up the illusion. Here's the insane part. Even whilst my belly was getting bigger and Mark would lay in bed with me at night rubbing my belly, I was still texting Aidan. I was still sneaking off to meet Aidan. Aidan didn't care. In fact, he actually found it funny. He would put his hand on my belly and ask, does it kick when I'm around? And I wanted it to. I wanted it to so badly. I wanted to feel that connection with Aidan. To him, this was just a game. But of course, you don't live a life that dramatic, with that many secrets, without somebody eventually noticing something. The first person to almost catch us was his mother, Mark and Aidan's mum. She popped by a listing one afternoon, totally unannounced. Whilst I was mid-rendezvous with Aidan, I pulled my dress back down when I heard her downstairs calling me. Aidan found this hilarious, but I was a nervous wreck as I walked downstairs and pretended I'd been upstairs doing paperwork. And Aidan slipped out the back door. But she knew. She didn't say anything. Not then. But she knew. She looked at me and I knew that she knew exactly what I was doing. And the look she gave me told me that I was going to burn for my actions. Spoiler, I absolutely did burn for my actions. Know that I married Mark, a safe, kind and dependable brother, just to stay close to Aidan, the man I was actually in love with. And yes, I was still sleeping with Aidan even after I married Mark, even whilst I was pregnant with Mark's baby. I was living a lie, a big, bold, beautiful mess of a lie, and I thought I had it all under control. But that's the thing about lies. They don't stay buried forever. So you want to know who finally exposed me? Because it wasn't Aidan. It wasn't Mark, and it wasn't their mum, who definitely knew that something was going on. It was my best friend. Let's call her Jess. Jess and I had been inseparable for years. She was my ride or die, my secret keeper. She knew everything, every sneaky text, every empty house hookup. Every time I told Mark that I had a late client when I was really with Aidan, she knew. So here's the best bit. Aidan and Jess had started sleeping together. She'd had a thing for him this whole time and I had no idea. So they started sleeping together, and then she needed to eliminate me from the family, because that was the only way to get me away from Aidan. So one day she just stops answering my calls. I thought it was weird, but I was so distracted juggling my lies that I just never chased her. And that's when it happened. I came home from a prenatal appointment, swollen and tired and still trying to pretend to be that perfect glowing wife. And I walked into Mark, sitting at the kitchen table, white as a ghost, in complete silence, just holding my iPad. My iPad, which is linked to my phone. Mark had always trusted me so much. He had never snooped before. And I never had a reason to try and hide it on my iPad or disconnect my phone from my iPad, because he wasn't that man. He wasn't that man to look. There it was. Every shred of evidence in the palm of his hand. Every message, every address, every steamy, heartless, disgusting thing that I had done. He looked up at me and he asked, "Did you ever love me? Or was I just your ticket to him?" And to be honest with you, I couldn't answer. Because if Aidan wasn't his brother, I don't think I would have ever married Mark. And then he showed me the email, sent anonymously. All of the dates, times, locations, everything. A few days later, I sent this email to my friend who works in IT. He knows how to trace metadata, and he traced that email right back to Jess's IP address. That's how I found out. She ratted me out. She exposed everything, every dirty secret, every lie, every betrayal. She thought, if she can't have him, I'm not going to have him either. The woman who stood beside me on my wedding day is the reason my whole life came crashing down. And honestly, I deserved it.